Hi, my name is Malia EDGE, and I want to share with you a little bit about myself and my involvement with an organization called the Navigators. I attended the University of South Florida in Tampa, which is where we're at right now. I graduated with a degree in psychology and a minor in communications. I love to sing and play guitar, and I also love sports, but my greatest passion is probably people. I love to hang out with people, just being around people, talking, which influenced my decision to pursue psychology while in college. But the greatest lessons I learned during my college career had nothing to do with academics, and I want to share with you a little bit about that. During my sophomore years, I was introduced to the Navigators. They were a Christian organization, and I hung out with them for big events. But the most important one was a spring break trip to North Carolina to go snowboarding. I really wanted to learn how to do that. I had never had the opportunity, and so I went along. When we were there, I had made some friendships in the van, particularly a girl named Sabrina. And on the way up, I was hoping that she would be my roommate when we got there. But when we did, all the girls split off, and I ended up getting roomed with a woman named Deb Ensminger. I was really disappointed and not too happy, but the next morning, after we had got settled in, she asked me before I left the room if I wanted to read the Bible with her. My first thought was no, definitely not, but I decided that it was more polite for me to go ahead and read with her, and so I sat down and my mind was completely on learning to snowboard, but she was just so enthusiastic about reading together, and she was really nice, so we got through that time. And later on in the night, she had heard when I was talking to her about my interest in playing guitar and writing music, so she asked me to sit down and play some of my songs for her, which is really strange because she's 80% deaf, so I had no idea why she even cared to listen to any of my music if she could even hear it. But I wrote down the lyrics to the songs for her, and she would read through them, and then I would play, and she would listen intently as she read my lips as I sang through the songs. And every time I finished a song, she would just cheer so loud and clap and just say, "Yay!" It was just something that was a neat experience because she was being real. She was an authentic person, and I don't think that I had really experienced somebody who genuinely just wanted to listen to what I had to say and just be around me just because I was me. So I started to notice some differences about these other people who called themselves Christians and my life. When we went back, I went back to my normal life after that spring break trip, which at the time I was dating somebody who was my world. And I didn't have time to be really involved with this organization, even though I had fun on the trip. So the guy I was dating broke up with me, and I felt completely lost because everything I was building my life around had just vanished. So I talked with the girl Sabrina that I'd met on that trip, and she was just a really comforting person to me, but it was time for me to go home for the summer. When I went home, I searched for all the different ways that other people put their worlds together and seemed to have happiness in the world, but nothing seemed to fulfill me, and I just felt so empty, like there was something missing. I ended up coming back to Tampa a week early, and when I was in the car, I remember thinking to myself, this is not what I want my life to be. This is not who I want to be. So I called up Sabrina and I said, "Sabrina, would you like to hang out?" And she told me she was over at that woman from the spring break trip's house, Deb Ensminger, and she invited me to come over. So I went over and we ended up talking about my summer. But I remember that when I spoke with Deb before, she was just that real person, and I desired that realness. So I was really open with them about what my life had been like over the summer and the hard times I was going through. And I pretty much laid myself out on the table. And from that point on, that semester, I saw Deb pretty much every day, whether it was just to be around her, to cook with her, for her to listen to my music, or to read the Bible, which she made a point to do with me every week. And that kind of started my whole relationship with God. I became a Christ follower because Deb sat down with me and showed me how. I want to be that for other people. When I first started following Christ, I met a girl named Lisa. We met at a barbecue the first week of classes, and I still remember meeting her. It was right next to the volleyball courts, and we just started talking. I could tell that she didn't really want to be there, and through conversation I found out she was there with her boyfriend. Through the conversation, we started to bond, and she started to smile a little bit and open up. By the end of the barbecue, she was planning on coming on a trip with me to go whitewater rafting. It was just an amazing experience to see how excited she was to go on this trip and to hang out with me. After the trip, we ended up starting to meet on a weekly basis to read the Bible together. And within a couple of months, she started to follow Christ. I would just meet with her and tell her the exact same things that Deb had taught me. I'm excited to see that kind of stuff happen at Gainesville, to see those kind of relationships form where somebody meets with one person, that person meets with another person, and just passes on the information that we have to share the good news about Jesus. I've been invited to join a program called the EDGE Corps. EDGE Corps is recent graduates who have dedicated a year or two of their lives to serving with this ministry. We will be put on a team together, and we will be led by an experienced staff member. We will have the responsibility of hanging out with students a lot, interacting with students, leading Bible studies, mentoring believing students, and just sharing with the student population in general about Jesus. Because we are recent graduates, we have a special bond with the students because we were just students. During college, it's a unique time that there are many new experiences and tough decisions. And students are told to experiment with their lives and are influenced to make decisions that could affect the rest of their lives. And I want to be a positive influence in those students' lives. I want to be able to be an example of the life that God had for us. I want to show them a Christ-like example. In order for me to report to Gainesville by August 10th, I need to build a team of prayer and financial supporters. How does God want you involved? Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video, and I look forward to speaking with you in the future.